Hi, I'm Al.
And I'm Stacy.
We decided that since it's coming to the end of our garden season, for some of our vegetables at least, we'd give you guys an update on how things have gone and how we felt like we did with our garden this year.
I think everything went really well. We've got lots and lots of frozen stuff, dehydrated stuff, and freeze-dried stuff that we're going to be able to use this winter. So this is what's left of our early harvest stuff. This was the lettuce and the spinach and the celery, and it did pretty good. We had a hard time keeping up with the lettuce and the spinach and the celery. So actually we did get some spinach, but we just didn't keep up with it very well. It was really hard with all the other things going on. So next year we're going to have to plan a little bit better and do a little more preemptive weeding and stuff to make sure that they're all healthy and happy. The next things that we had was the broccoli and the cauliflower, the broccoli did great. We've got lots of broccoli, but the cauliflower didn't do very well this year. And I'm not exactly sure why. If you guys have any great ideas about what might have happened and what you saw us do, please leave a message for us and let us know. Leave a comment and help us figure out how we can figure this out for next year, because we really would like to have some cauliflower in our freezer. So the cabbage that we had did pretty good. We had a whole row of it, but it started getting eaten up by bugs and stuff. So at first it was really having some problems. So we put a organic bacterial spray on it, and that helped a lot. But quite frankly, we couldn't keep up with that either. We had a couple of heads that we had raw, but neither Al nor I is really big on sauerkraut, so we didn't really know how else to prepare it and how else to preserve it. So we ended up giving a lot of it away, which everybody that we gave it to seemed to really enjoy. So I guess this part of the garden went pretty well. Down here we had our beets, and the beets, I did a whole bunch. I think it was like 14 pints of beet pickles, and they did really good. But as you can see by these big fatty guys, they got a little ahead of us too. So I really had to chop them down. But the carrots are still here, and we still have to figure out what to do with those. Some of them I think will be able to winter over, the small ones. But for the most part, I think we're going to end up canning some and probably freeze drying some. But I'm not sure exactly how. So if you have any great ideas on how to preserve carrots, let me know. Leave a comment. We'll move on. So the peas were next, and they did really good, but we planted them way too thick. And quite honestly, we couldn't tell the difference between the pea pod ones and the sugar pea ones, and it was a pain. We really need to plant them a little bit farther apart this next year and maybe give them a little bit more room to breathe. As you can see, they're still growing. They're still doing something. But I think we're kind of done with our harvest part of them. We'll probably eat a few raw, but from here on, the peas are probably done. So the next thing in our garden was the tomatoes. And I want to show this to you again, because I don't think you can see quite how big this guy is. Look at this guy compared to my hand. He's huge, and he's so heavy. Look at that. But he's not quite ready to be picked yet, so we're going to just leave him be and hope he does good. But the rest of the tomatoes are doing amazing. We have harvested already a few times from them. We've done a little bit of freezing on them because everything else was going so fast. We're going to have to can them and sauce them and juice them and do all of that just a little bit later, because we can't keep up with everything right now. So the peppers, they started out really slow, and we thought they weren't going to do much, but they actually have been doing really, really well for us. And we've already harvested several batches of freeze-dried or dehydrated stuff. We've done a little bit of freeze drying, and as you can see, we already have some more that we could be harvesting now. There's green peppers and poblano peppers. We're doing really great. They're actually doing a lot better than we expected them to, as slow as they got started and as much damage as there was in the move. So we're really happy with the way that they're doing, and I'm glad to be able to use them this winter. So the next thing we had was the cucumbers, which did great. We have a whole shelf full of dill pickle cucumbers that are ready to be eaten this next winter, probably starting in October. They need to brine just a little bit longer, I think. But they did really good. They're just kind of quit their growing season. There's still a few, but they're straggling. So we're just going to till them under here pretty soon and mulch for the rest of the garden. And then we had our zucchini, which I did zucchini chips, and we did the freeze-dried zucchini. I did frozen zucchini in little portions, and there's lots of zucchini. Obviously, zucchini just gets way ahead of you. So I think if we do this again, one bush is probably plenty enough. We do not need 2 monstrous bushes of zucchini. But anyway, if you have any great zucchini recipes, let me know. I've already got a few and I'd like to try them. The next thing we had was the sunflowers, which ended up being gigantic. They are gigantic. I cannot believe how big they are, and I'm so excited because I'm starting to see them come apart here. The flowers are starting to die. Oh, there's a bee. And anyway, you can see the seeds. I cannot wait to do those seeds, but they're not ready yet. They won't be ready until it starts turning all yellow up here where the green is. So we're gonna wait on those. I tried to harvest one a little bit early because it looked like it was ready and it wasn't anywhere near ready. So we're gonna go ahead and just wait on these. They're still really pretty, and they still remind me that summer's not quite over yet, even though some days it feels like it's getting pretty cool. Anyway, so that's the sunflowers.
So I just wanted to give you guys an idea of exactly how tall these are. I tried to get a little bit of a shot, but the sun was in the background there with Stacy. So I am 6 foot tall, so I can reach about 8 foot.
They're so tall.
You can see that these are about 12 foot tall right now. So the stalks are nice and solid. It's amazing how solid these are. Take a look here at this one. You know, I can just get my fingers to reach around on this big stalk.
Okay, so the next thing is our big old pumpkin patch from our volunteer pumpkins. And I am gonna have more pumpkins than I know what to do with. I'm gonna give them away to as many people as I can think of. Anyway, this is just incredible to me. I cannot believe how many pumpkins we have. They aren't pumpkin pie pumpkins, so they're not gonna have the really big, thick insides like a pumpkin pie pumpkin would, but I'm still gonna try to do as much as I can as far as canning and trying to get some preserved for next season. But I think it's gonna be great to have all these beautiful pumpkins in my front yard. So the very last part of our garden was the corn. And we ended up with 225 ears of corn that Al and his mom shucked and cooked, and we froze it all. It's going to be so great. We did do some freeze drying of the corn, and that actually turned out pretty good. We'll see what we can do with that. Not sure yet how we're going to use that. Probably in soups or something. But anyway, that is a lot of corn, and it's going to last us all winter probably, and then some, because it's just the 2 of us. But we'll give it to our kids, and it's going to be great. It ended up doing really, really well for us. I was really surprised.
So overall, I'm pretty happy with the way the garden came out. I think that everything grew really, really well. We didn't use any sort of artificial fertilizers, no Miracle-Gro, nothing like that.
No.
And it did really well.
Yeah, it did, and we really have so much food now. I mean, really, there is a lot of food there. It's kind of the same stuff that we've always had, and that's good because we're used to using that.
Up on the upper end, we had some bug issues, and like Stacy mentioned, we used some organic spray on that. It was a bacteria that we sprayed on, and that took care of the bugs, so that was good. The other thing that we had a major issue with was morning glory.
Oh yeah.
We'd love to have any tips you guys have on how to get rid of morning glory other than just being persistent with it. We've been trying to do that, but right now it's just getting away from us.
Well, it even got so strong at one point it pulled down our sprinkler system. I just can't even believe it got that strong. It's
yeah,
crazy.
The sprinklers, that's a 1/2 inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe that the morning glory actually busted it off from its base, and so I had to replace that at one point. The tomatoes, the tomatoes are still doing good, but we're having issues with the morning glory pulling the plants down and snuffing the plants out.
Well, and it also puts the fruit right down on the ground, which makes them rot on the bottom really bad. So we're struggling with that as well. It's frustrating.
I think that, as far as the tomatoes go, we don't seem to be having any issues with the calcium deficiency that gives you that blight on the bottom.
Right.
We've done really well with that, though we'll definitely plant the tomatoes in a different spot next year. We'll kind of switch everything around a little bit. We're trying to do a lot more of tilling plants under rather than just pulling them out and feeding them to the cows.
That keeps the nutrients in the soil, and rotating the stock will rotate the nutrients in the different areas. So that should help next year too.
Yeah, I think so. The cauliflower was the one thing that was a complete bust for us. But part of that was our own problem. We got busy right when it finally did come on. We were both real busy. School was starting. I was driving. Stacy's been busy with her job. And we just didn't get it picked and harvested when the little bit of it was ready to go. And that's our own fault.
But we'll try to keep ahead of it next year, knowing what we have to do this year. And that's what the whole point of this garden was, really. We were trying to figure out what was going to work, what wasn't going to work, how we needed to do things differently or continue to do things.
And, we're trying new food preservation techniques with the freeze dryer.
Right.
That's been an amazing blessing. And we have done a lot. We've tried just about everything that we've harvested.
Yeah.
Apples, pears, peaches, zucchini, tomatoes,
yep.
Blackberries,
yep.
corn, peas, eggs.
Yes, we did our eggs, which by the way, oh my gosh, our chickens are laying crazy right now. And so many eggs.
I'm amazed at freeze-dried eggs.
Yeah.
They're just, you add the water and they're just exactly like eggs.
And it'll preserve. We could go on and on about that, but it's just been really a great blessing that we've had that to play with for this season. So we know kind of, what we like and what we don't like.
And getting back into the swing of preserving foods.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
I was raised that way on this exact piece of property with my grandmother and grandfather. Grandma did a lot of canning, and so we're getting back into that, and that's been fun.
Yeah.
We've got grandma's old dehydrator. We got it pulled out, re-screened the trays on that with some stainless steel screen. We've kept that thing running solid.
Pretty much, yeah.
I love dehydrated pears. We've got bananas going right now. We've done apples, peppers, and onions are one of our favorite things to use while cooking. So we've been doing that.
So exciting to have peppers again.
Yeah. With the freeze dryer, we also, most of our celery we freeze dried, and we'll be making celery salt. We did onions in the freeze dryer, so we could do onion salt, all of that.
It's pretty exciting. We've really got a lot of use out of our garden this year. It's been a really good thing.
Our 2 small pear trees, we had a short little clip of us picking pears. We've got a whole shelf full of pears that we can.
That's just the canned ones.
And then we dehydrated a bunch of the smaller ones. We had a lot of really nice large pears that came off our trees. Not sure exactly if it's just the year or what, but we didn't have a lot of issues with bugs. Some with the pears, the apples hardly had any bugs in them at all, which is pretty rare for us.
Right. So, and we've still got apples coming on. We've got 2 different apple trees that are ready to be moved, and I'll probably be doing some more sauces and some more freeze drying and some more,
juicing.
Yes, juicing. So anyway, all that to say, everything is going pretty well. We've had a couple hiccups, but I think for the most part, we have really been blessed this year.
We have, and the weather's still holding on.
Yeah.
The plants are what's telling us that summer's coming to an end. Other than school starting and all that, and it's getting late in the year, but the plants are really all telling us. The trees are so heavy with seed pods this year, just like the apples and pears were so heavy with fruit. I think my grandma would say that we're going to have a hard winter, just because of how heavy everything has been with fruit and such, but we'll see.
Yeah. So thank you for keeping up with us this season.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching along. And
you know, we're going to have more videos coming out on preserving foods and how we're doing it. We got a great video coming up on pickled beets.
Yes,
And
my grandmother's recipe. I had a grandmother that did some cooking too.
Yep.
And anyway, so it's going to be really nice for us to share that with you.
And we really appreciate your comments. That helps more than anything. That's encouragement for us, and we love it when we see our friends that have been watching, and it's a huge encouragement.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate that. If you have any comments about how we've been preserving stuff, about how you like to preserve stuff, we'd love to hear about it.
Absolutely. Every new idea gives us another option of something else to do with what we have on hand. And it expands things a little bit when we can all share with each other.
Yep, we love that. So thanks a lot for watching, for subscribing, for commenting, and
thanks for joining us.
yeah, thanks.